Let xn be a sequence in X. Xn is said to be bounded. Bounded. Bounded in X. If there exists a point P in X and R positive, take any R positive such that your Xn is lying between BPR. Do you agree? Do you agree? This is in general any matrix space. Now, if I'm having non-linear space, then if X is non-linear space, then Xn is bounded if there exists a M positive such that norm Xn is less than M for all n belongs to natural number. Is that clear? Is the definition clear? This was in general. That means what? All the term of sequence section are lying in an open ball. This is what the meaning is. Take any p and take any radius. There should exist a p such that take any radius r. Every value of xn should lie inside that. Okay. And if you are having non-linear space, then so in general we are going to use this definition. Now, can you try proving? Every convergence sequence is bounded. Can you prove that? Think about it, take some time. How will you start? How will you start? Yes. Proof is one line proof. Do you see the definition of convergence? Let xn converge to say x. What is the definition of convergence? What is the definition of convergence?
Norm xn comma x less than 0.
No. See, we are talking about in general matrix space. It doesn't mean the see norm is only defined in non-linear space. There are some space where we cannot define norm. So we should talk in discrete. We should talk in metric space term.
Okay, d
So how do you
of
write this? Yes.
xn comma x is less than.
For all epsilon positive, there exists some n naught belongs to natural number such that d of xn comma x that will be less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to n naught. Is that clear? Can I write the same thing in terms of open ball? Can I write same thing in terms of open ball? Look at this thing. Can I write it as my xn belongs to open ball b of x comma epsilon? Can I write this?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now something is true for all epsilon. Can I choose some epsilon? Say epsilon equal to 1. Then also your xn is true. That means what? For epsilon equal to 1, what did you see? Your xn is lying between x comma 1 for all n greater than equal to n naught. Is that clear? That means what? After n naught, everybody is bounded. Everybody is lying in this open ball. So I have proved around 80% of my proof. That means I have proved my xn is bounded. This was the definition of boundedness, isn't it? I should have a point P such that xn is lying between p comma r. There should exist some r. So I am taking that r is 1. Is it okay? So what next? What should I take now? Next thing. Xn equal to b x comma 1 for all n greater than equal to n naught. What about the previous terms? Yes,
They are finite, so their image set will contain.
we can choose the maximum one, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So let us do one thing. Let us choose r as a maximum of what? D of x1 comma x, d of x2 comma x, correct? And so on up to d of x n naught minus 1 comma x. Is that clear? And comma 1 एक और radius अपने पास 1. So what do you say? Can I say that can I say something like this? D of xn comma x is always less than r. Do you agree? Even less than equal to मिलेगा मेरे को, तो मैं क्या करूंगा? Let us choose maximum and that let us make it greater than, because I may get equality also. Maximum थोड़ा सा बड़ा मुझे r चाहिए. So r is greater than maximum. Is that okay? D of xn comma x is less than r and belongs to now. Yes. After, tell me what is subsequence. Payal. Can you hear me? Hello. What is subsequence? This is your sequence xn, which has x1, x2, x3, and so on. Correct? What is subsequence? If you take, suppose if you take even term, x2 liya, x4 liya, x8 liya, like this, x2, x4, x 6, and so on. So this is a new sequence where first term is x2, second term is x4, third term is x6, like this. Correct? So this is a subsequence of this sequence, original sequence. So in general, how will you define it? Look at the definition I'm writing. Let n1 is less than n2, and that is less than n3, that is less than n4, and so on. Suppose these are the n1 and 2. In the previous example, my n1 is 2, n2 is 4, n3 is 6, like this. Suppose these are the new numbering for me. This is the new indexing set, you can say. Okay. So this is be a monotonic increasing sequence. Increasing sequence in natural number. Correct? Then the sequence x and k. This is the new notation x and k. X and k has the term xn1, xn2, xn3, like that. Correct? Is called as subsequence of the sequence xn. Is that clear? Is the definition clear? Can you give some example of subsequence? Give me a sequence and give me its subsequence. First example always comes in your mind is if you take xn equal to minus 1 raised to n. Can you give me at least two subsequence of this sequence?
1 and minus 1.
No, give me subsequence. That means I want a term something like x and k. This is what I want. What should I put my n keys? Definitely you should follow. See, nk should be in terms of k because I am wearing my k. Nk is a notation after all, but nk should be in terms of k. So if I put x and k is x2k, k equal to 1 put karo, you are getting x2. K equal to 2 put karo, you are getting x4, x6 like this. I'm taking even terms. So what is the answer of the sequence? It is just 1, 1, 1. Is that clear? Can you give me any other subsequence? I can give you x 2k plus 1. That will give me minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, so on. Correct? So similarly, you can give me so many infinitely many subsequence. Is that okay? And this k is the notation for me. You can write x2n also. There is not at all any problem. This is just a notation. So you can say x2n is a subsequence, x4n is a subsequence for me. Correct? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Do you know some theorem related to subsequence? After
Yes,
giving the
sir.
definition, I told you some theorem.
Every sequence has
Yeah.
a monotonic subsequence.
No. Before that, that is one step ahead. I need something before that.
Uh, every subsequence of a convergent sequence is also convergent.
Correct. If you are having a convergent sequence, then every subsequence of that sequence is convergent and it converges to same limit, isn't it? Very good. Let x comma d be matrix space. Okay. Let x and now try to prove be a convergent sequence. Correct? Convergent sequence converging to x. Okay. Then every subsequence, try to prove every subsequence of xn converges to the same limit x. Think about the proof and tell me whether you got it or not. You are given xn converges to x. Yes. You have any idea?
Sir, nk would be greater than or equal to n. We have that result. So xn
Is always greater than equal to nk is always greater than equal to
n.
no, but here nk is a notation in which n1, n2, n3. So n is not at
So we
all a
can use
number here.
this. Yes, sir. So uh, nk
No,
would
nk
be
is greater than
great.
equal to k, na.
Yes, sir. So we take k
Look
greater
at
than or equal to n, sir, n not, sir. So we have the proof. Yes, sir.
perfect, very nice, very nice. Do you
That
see?
proof.
This is what you have to use. Now you know that nk is greater than equal to k. Can you say about nk plus 1? That means if
Strictly
I
greater
would
than.
like to prove this, you can prove that yes, strictly greater. So you can prove this by the method of induction. I think I have done that, if you remember. Can you prove it quickly? You have to prove by method of induction. For k equal to 1. For k equal to 1. Is it clear? You're having n1 and that is always equal to greater than equal to 1. Do you agree? Yes. Because n1, n2, n3 क्या है? These are the terms of sequence n and they are increasing sequence. What about next? Assume for k, correct? Assume for k. That means nk is greater than equal k. This is my assumption I'm having. ठीक है? What next? Prove for k plus 1. So how will you start? Can you say something? How will you start? You'd like to prove for k plus 1. Look at your nk plus 1. What is relation between nk plus 1 and nk? What is relation between nk
Strictly
plus 1
greater
and
than.
nk? Greater than, correct? And what do you see the relation between nk and k?
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to, that means what? My nk is greater than equal to, this is greater than equal to k, correct? Yes. Now look at that. Here you are having, look at this one, nk plus 1 and k. You are having nk plus 1 that is strictly greater than k, correct? Now if I put k plus 1 here, what do you see the inequality would be? If I put nk plus 1, if I put k plus 1 here, both are natural number only, correct? So अगर मैंने इसमें plus 1 add किया, they
So
may be
greater
equal
than or
or
equal
they may
to.
be again greater than,
Greater than or equal to.
correct? Do you agree? Yes, greater than or equal to, perfect. So this is what I have proved for k plus 1. So by induction, I have proved that nk plus, nk is always greater than equal to k. Now just you have to use your induction. You just have to use the definition of sequence. Xn converts to x. We'll write the definition. For all epsilon positive, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that mod of, not mod. I'm not having mod here. I'm having distance between xn comma x that is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. Now you have to relate this guy. Look at this properly. What can you see? Instead of n, you can consider k here. You don't have any problem. See, for all n greater than equal to n naught, let us take a k. Let k is greater than n naught. Can I consider? That means this k will be where? This will be in that n. You are having this n, na? उसमें से कोई एक वैल्यू को मैंने k लिया. Let k is greater than equal to n naught. So what can you say? Can you say that nk, which is always greater than k, that is greater than equal to n naught? So do I get any relation between nk and n naught?
Nk is greater than or equal to n naught.
Nk is greater than equal to n naught. So can I say something? Can I say that distance of x and k comma x is always less than x for all nk is greater than equal to n naught? This is the same thing what I have written. I am just changing n की जगह पे nk, n की जगह पे nk. That's it. I am just changing the notation. Correct? Which means what? Your x and k converge to x. Is the proof clear? So I have proved if you are having a convergence sequence, then every subsequence, see x and k is any subsequence, I don't care. Every subsequence is a convergence sequence. Correct? With this help, I proved -1 raised to n is not convergent. Correct? With the help of previous theorem, I proved -1 raised to n is not convergent. Can you claim quickly why this is not convergent? Because I can give you two subsequence. Look at x2n, look at x2n plus 1. Correct? It converges to 1 and it converges to -1. But if your sequence is convergent, it will converge to a single point and that limit must be unique. You are having two subsequence which is converging to 1, which is converging to -1. So this is the problem. This is the contradiction. So that means your sequence is not convergent. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. What else? Did we prove anything else? Given any subsequence, sorry, given any sequence, what can you say? You can
There
always
exists
find.
a convergent
Yes.
subsequence.
No, not convergent. You can always
Monotonic.
find a monotonic sequence. Correct. Now, if I change my question, given any bounded sequence, can you say something more?
Now it will be convergent.
There exists a convergent subsequence. Perfect. Correct. This is called क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. This is called Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. Okay. And what is Cauchy sequence? Can you define Cauchy?
For all n comma m greater than or equal to and not
But
d of xn comma xm is less.
wait. First, should I start for all epsilon positive? Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let x comma d be a matrix space. Correct. Let xn be a xn is said to be Cauchy. Let us directly write xn is said to be Cauchy sequence. Yes. What is the definition? If for all epsilon positive, there exists and not belongs to natural number such that distance between xn and xm that will be less than epsilon for all n comma m greater than equal to n naught. Is that clear? You can add this thing here also. There is no problem. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now, what are the theorems you have proved with respect to Cauchy? We have again proved every Cauchy sequence is bounded, correct? Even we have proved, can you, or let us prove first. If you are having a convergent sequence, then it is called Cauchy. That means convergent implies Cauchy. Do you agree? Yes. And I told you the converse is true only if you are having real number. In the case of real number, that means in our semester 1, I was telling you convergent and Cauchy both are same because we were dealing in R. But in here, in matrix space, this is not true. The only thing is true is convergent implies Cauchy. If every Cauchy is convergent, then we are going to name another thing. I hope, I think you remember, मैंने बोला भी था वो word. That is complete matrix space. That is called complete space. Is it clear? That means that will be a space in which every Cauchy sequence is convergent. That is. Now, first of all, can you quickly prove every convergent sequence is Cauchy? Yes. Write the statement of theorem, write the proof. How will you start? Let xn converge to x. Write the definition. For all epsilon positive, Yes, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that d of xn comma x, that is that is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. Now how will you become, how will you make it this Cauchy? Cauchy कैसे बनाओगे इसको? Yes,
Sir,
for
triangle
Cauchy I need, yes, for Cauchy I need d of xn comma xm na. Now can I say that xm also, can I say also d of xm comma x that is less than epsilon for all m greater than equal to n naught, correct? So m क्या है? M is also here only
sir,
in this
epsilon by
set of natural number. Yes, I have to take epsilon by 2. Very good. So take d of x and xm, that is less than equal to d of xn comma x plus d of x comma xm. This is the run. So I got it d of xn xm that is less than epsilon for all n comma m greater than equal to n naught. Is that clear? Hence proved. So I have proved every convergence sequence is Cauchy. Yes.
yes sir.
Perfect. Now can you
सर वो
prove every
कॉन्वर्स
Cauchy?
के लिए ये दीजिए ना आप काउंटर एग्जांपल.
Yes, yes, I am coming to that. उसके लिए बहुत एग्जाम्पल है भर भर के. जस्ट एक मिनट, एक्चुअली आई एम रिमेनिंग विथ वन मोर थ्योरम, वो कर लेते फिर उसके बाद चलेंगे, ठीक है? One, I am remaining with two theorems. Let us complete all the part, then we'll focus on this only. Our main topic is this only. कि Cauchy conversion नहीं है तो I'm getting so many example. I'll tell you. Just wait a minute. Okay. Now, can you prove every Cauchy sequence is bounded quickly? Yes. How will you prove every Cauchy sequence is bounded? Yes. What you are given with? You are given xn is Cauchy. Write the definition. That means what? For all epsilon positive, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that d of xn comma xm that is less than equal to epsilon, correct? For all greater for all n greater than equal to for all nm, correct? Now can I choose epsilon equal to 1? So I'm having d of xn comma xm that is less than 1, but still I'm not able to prove that is for all n comma m greater than equal to n naught, because this n and m both are varying. So in particular, can I take m as n naught? In particular, can I choose my m as n naught? So if I choose my m as n naught, so it will be your d of xn comma xn naught, which is less than 1 for all. Now I'm having n is greater than equal to n naught. Do you agree? That means what? Your xn is lying in what? In an open ball, xn naught comma 1. This was the definition of a bounded sequence, isn't it? Every term of action should be inside an open ball, correct? But this is true only if your n is greater than equal to n naught. Can you say something? You'd like to prove boundedness, na? So this should be true for everybody. Yes, you should choose your r as greater than maximum of same thing जो उधर किया था. d of क्या आएगा ये? x n naught comma x1 and so on. It will be of d of x n naught comma x and not -1 and comma 1. Is that clear? Do you agree with me? Yes? Yes or no? Hello. One more theorem. So these all things we have done in your FYBC. I'm just repeating all the theorem, but in terms of metric space. Okay. So let x comma d be a metric space. Let xn be a Cauchy sequence. I'm having xn is a Cauchy sequence in x and or having a convergent subsequence. That means it is Cauchy and it is also having convergent subsequence. It has a subsequence which is convergent. Then xn is convergent. Do you remember the theorem? Do you recall this proof? Think about it. You are given a convergent sequence, and you proving your sequence is convergent. That means only Cauchy is not enough for me. I need some extra thing. What is that extra? It is having a convergent subsequence. And do you see that in the case of real number it was true? Why? Because focus here. Because in the case of real number, okay, in the case of real number, I told you that give me any sequence, I can give you a subsequence which is monotonic, isn't it? Yes, give me any sequence, I can give you a sequence which is monotonic. Now
Yes.
I'm giving you a Cauchy sequence. So what can you say? In real number, I'm giving you a Cauchy sequence. What can you say? There exists a subsequence which is convergent. Can you see that? You will
Which is
always find a
monotonic and bounded, sir.
which is convergent. Yes, monotonic and bounded. Because if I'm giving you a Cauchy sequence, so
It is
every
bounded.
Cauchy sequence is bounded. Yes, so each of the subsequence will be bounded. So मुझे क्या मिल गया? Cauchy में क्या मिल गया? एक subsequence मिल गया जो convergent है. So we can say my xn is convergent. Do you see? That's why in the real you're having convergent is same as Cauchy. Cauchy is same as convergent. In the case of real. Do you see the proof? Think about once again. Let us go through once again. I am giving you a sequence. Now we have proved that give me any subsequence in R. I can. This is true only in R. Huh? This is not true in general. I can give you a monotonic sequence, monotonic subsequence. Correct. So what can you say? If I'm giving you a Cauchy sequence, then that subsequence, जो monotonic मैंने choose किया था, that will be bounded also. That means it is monotonic and bounded. So that means what? Any monotonic and bounded sequence is convergent. So I am just getting the hypothesis of this theorem. I am having a Cauchy sequence. I am having a convergent subsequence. So I can see that this xn would be convergent directly. Correct? But before that, I have to prove this theorem. Before using this theorem, I have to prove this theorem. Is that okay? Yes.
Sir, only one subsequence is converging,
Enough.
so enough. Okay.
Yes, it is enough. If you are having a convergent subsequence, that is it, it is enough. And you can see that see in that case only I am telling you there exists a monotonic sequence. I need only one monotonic subsequence. That is enough for me. Now you will see the proof of this, then you can see. Okay, let us see the proof. What you are given? You are given xn is Cauchy. And also let x and k, let us take x and k be a subsequence which is converging to x. That means what? It is a subsequence which is converging to x. This is given to me, correct? Now what is my claim? I would like to prove this sequence also converges to x. This is my claim. Okay, think about it. Can you try? Take some time, try. Take some time. Proof is very easy. And if you just leave some space, try solving this. Convergent means what? I need to prove d of xn comma x. I need to prove this is less than epsilon. So what do you see? You will use triangle inequality, of course, correct? But with respect to, you're having xn comma x. You're also given x and k is convergent to x, correct? So should I include x and k here? That means this will be less than d of xn comma x and k plus d of x and k comma x. Is that clear? Now you see both the things are true. Just you have to write it properly. That's it. Do you agree? Think about it and tell me. This is already less than epsilon by 2. Why? Because your x and k is converging to x, isn't it? What else? D of xn comma x and k, whether this is less than epsilon by 2.
Yes, sir, because it is a Cauchy sequence.
Very nice, because it is a Cauchy sequence. You have to make sure कि जो ये n is greater than equal to n naught, but which is true from this, because your x and k is converging to x. From that I got my nk is greater than equal to n naught. So this nk will work as my m. Do you agree? So I'll just write this is again epsilon by 2, and I'll that is epsilon. So we are done. Now I want you to write the proof. Can you tell me? I'll just tell me. I'm just going to write. How should I start? How should I start? First, you are given x and k is converging to x. So let us use x and k converge to x. That means what? For given epsilon positive, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that d of x and k comma x that is less than epsilon by 2. Is that clear? For all nk greater than equal to n naught. So this is the definition of uh, subsequence convergent. Is that okay? What else? Yeah, I should not write n naught, huh? Because uh, I'll be using two n naught. So maximum choose करना पड़ेगा ना. So let us choose n1 here. Okay, now what next? We are also given xn is Cauchy. Let's use xn is Cauchy. So for same epsilon जो ऊपर यूज किया हम लोगों ने, for same epsilon positive, I can say there exists n2 belongs to natural number, correct? Such that d of xn comma xm that is greater, sorry, that is less than epsilon by 2 for all n comma m greater than n2. Is that clear? Yes. In the particular at the place of m, can I say nk? In particular, d of xn comma xm is less than epsilon by 2. Sorry, not m, n key. That is less than epsilon by 2. For all n comma n key, that is greater than n2. Do you see? I am choosing बस n key की जगह पे I am just changing the notation. M की जगह पे I am putting n key. Here that's it. Everything is same. What next? What should I choose now? I should choose a n naught, which should satisfy for both the metric. Choose n naught equal to maximum of n1 and n2. So what can you see? If n naught I am choosing this, can you see that my d of xn key comma x, that is less than epsilon by 2, and d of xn comma xn key, that is again less than epsilon by 2 for all n greater than equal to n naught. Do you agree? Look at this and tell me. If you agree, then you can complete the proof. That's it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So this is the proof. That means I'm having a Cauchy sequence, having a convergent subsequence. So I can say my sequence is convergent. So with this, I am just writing a corollary. A Cauchy sequence in a metric space is convergent if and only if it has a convergent subsequence. Do you agree? Can you quickly tell me the proof, some of you? A Cauchy
Sir,
sequence in a
first we
metric.
take
Yeah,
Cauchy sequence is convergent. Then we have its subsequence will also be convergent.
correct.
So the
It's convergent, then its subsequence will be convergent. Okay. So one way is true. What about other way?
so we have a Cauchy sequence and a convergent subsequence. We now only prove this that it will be
Yes, we have
convergent.
just now proved. Then it will be very nice. Very good. Is that clear to everyone? It follows from both the theorem, whatever I have just now proved. Okay. Now tell me, what do you think? Which one is stronger? Cauchy sequence is stronger or convergent sequence is stronger? That means if you are having a convergent sequence, what can you say about Cauchy? Whether that sequence will be Cauchy? Or if you are having a Cauchy sequence, can you see whether it is convergent? Which one
Sir,
is stronger?
convergent is stronger.
Yes, convergent is stronger. Why? Because if I'm
It,
having a convergent sequence, then that is Cauchy also. But Cauchy need not be convergent. उसका example अभी देखना बाकी है अपने को, ठीक है? And if you remember just one thing, I think in the last session, Shreyas, you asked me, sir, when does the sequence is convergent in both the metric? If you're having two different metric, when they are convergent. So I answered you that if my metrics are equivalent, correct?
yes, sir.
So let us try to prove. Can you prove it? I think I have given the proof in the last class, but still, if you want, you can prove it. I'll just write the statement first. Let us prove it for Cauchy sequence, because for if you prove for Cauchy sequence convergent तो direct follow होता है वैसे भी, because Cauchy is smaller part, correct? Or you can do the same thing for convergent. There is no problem in the definition. you can use the definition. I'll just give you a hint how to prove. Let D1 and D2 B2 matrix, do B2 matrix on a non-empty set X. D1 and D2 are equivalent. Okay. Then a sequence Xn is Cauchy, or you can write convergent. You can prove it for convergent also. In X comma D1, if and only if Xn is Cauchy or convergent in X comma D2. Can you quickly tell me the proof, anyone? You know one more definition for equivalent. If you are given D1 and D2 are equivalent, then you know something. Yes? Hmm. If and only if, can you tell me? There exist two number K1 and K2 such that K1 D1 of X comma Y that is less than equal to D2 of X comma Y that is less than equal to K2 D1 of X comma Y. Do you agree? Yes? Now I hope everybody of you can prove this. Now I just have to take अगर मैंने D1 को Cauchy बोला तो मुझे इसको Cauchy बोलना है and likewise. Can you prove it now? I have given you a hint.
Yes, sir.
Proof is just you can say 2-3 lines. Proof, that's it. Right? Okay. So that proof I'll leave it for you as a homework. Okay. Now again, actually, I would like to start with that complete matrix bit, but I just have to wait a little bit because we have already defined limit point and closure of a set, derived set, correct? So how they are related with a sequence? That means the topic name is characterization of limit points and closure point in terms of sequence. So I would like to see limit point and closure point in terms of sequence of what they are doing. Okay. So we'll complete this. Then the last part is your complete matrix space. Don't worry, we have a full chapter based on your complete matrix space. We'll be doing. Okay. So let us do this. Characterization of limit points and closer point. Even Shreyas, you want some example, no? I'll just give you an example a little bit, then we can continue with this. Okay. Look at this sequence. Suppose I'm taking 1 plus 1 upon n raised to n. What do you think? Where does this sequence converge to?
One.
Whether this converges to 1?
One or E, sir, I think E.
It converges to E. Correct. So this is a sequence which converges to E. correct? But do you see every term of the sequence? They are rational number, correct? But where does this converge to?
Irrational.
Irrational. Right? So this is also an example of a sequence where you are having Cauchy sequence, but it does not converge to the set in our matrix space. Suppose मैं x को मैंने एक set लिया, set of rationals लिया, so it does not convert in that set. So I can say this is not a convergent sequence. Of course, this is a Cauchy sequence. You can prove it is Cauchy, but it is not convergent in Q. Why? It converges to some other point. See, अगर limit है, so see if your limit Alex, in your FYBSC, I have taken all the example, and your set capital X was R. So I don't care EI, root 2I, root 7I, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता मुझे, because in that case I was having R. But now I can play with this set also, X. Okay. Don't worry, we will be doing more precisely when we will be doing complete matrix space. Don't worry about that. Let's do and closure points. What is limit point? Can you tell me? What is limit point? So I'm going to prove two theorems. The first theorem is this. You're having a matrix space, so I can write let x comma d be a matrix space. The first theorem is this. Let A is subset of X and P belongs to X is a limit point. Limit point of A. If and only if there exists a sequence of distinct point distinct points of A converging to P. Think about this statement. I'll write the second one meanwhile. Let A subset of X and P belongs to A closure. It means P is a point if and only if there is a sequence of point of A converging to P. P. What is the difference between these two? What do you think? Look at the statement properly. You just have to know the definition, that's it. If you know the definition properly, then you can prove it very easily. You just have to know what is the definition of limit point, what is the definition of closure point. Set of all limit point is called adherent point. Set of all closure point is called closure of a set. You just need to know the definition. If you can prove it very easily. But I just want to understand whether you see the difference between these two theorems. A point is said to be a limit point if there exists a sequence of distinct points. The word is distinct point converging to P. And again, in the case of closure, P belongs to A closure if there is a sequence. That means here also there exists a sequence converging to P. Is that clear? Shall we start the proof? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I am giving you a new definition of limit point and closure point in terms of sequence. Whenever you are supposed to find a limit point and closure point, we used to find an open wall and find a radius as that intersection should be non-empty and something like that. Now what I have to give, you just have to give me a sequence which is connecting to that point. That's it. Is that clear? Then that point is going to be the limit point. And this will help us in many way to uh, any point is a limit point or not. I just have to give me a sequence. You just to have a convergence sequence moving to that point P. Yeah, one more question. Which one is stronger? Adherent point is stronger or closer? A closer is stronger. Which one is stronger one? Which one is stronger set? That is bigger set you can say. That means whether every limit point is adherent point or every adherent point is limit point. This is what I'm asking.
Every adherent point is a limit point, sir.
Every adherent point is a limit point. Why? Tell
Because
me the
for
difference.
adherent point there is no such condition for it being distinct.
Every limit point is an adherent point, but the converse not true.
Okay, what is the definition of them? Can you quickly recall what is the definition of limit point and adherent point? Yes, what is the definition? P is a limit point if
BPR excluding P intersection A is not equal to phi.
and what is the adherent point?
BPR intersection A is not equal to phi.
Correct. BPR intersection A is not empty. Correct. In adherent point, you are having this. Set of all adherent point is called closure. You just write the definition first. P is said to be limit point if bolo. If for all R positive, correct? BPR minus P intersection A is not empty, isn't it? This was the definition. And P is said to be adherent point. If for all R positive, BPR intersection A is non-empty. Is it clear? This was the definition, isn't it? Yes or no? See, you must always remember this. A closure is what? A union D of A. And what is D of A? Derived set. What is derived set?
It is the set of all the limit points.
Correct. It is the set of all element point. Good. So now you know the definition. Can you start? Look at the first theorem. Start. You should start. Take P is a limit point. Correct. In the first case, you are having a limit point. You have to give me a sequence which is converging to that point. Let us write the proof. Suppose P belongs to X is the limit point. Tell me what is the definition?
BPR minus P intersection A is not equal to pi.
Correct. That means for all R positive, BPR minus P intersection A is not empty. Correct. So from this, I need to consider, I need to form a sequence. I need to form a Xn such that BPR minus P intersection A is non-empty and that sequence is convergent. So think about it. How will you form a sequence? For a sequence, I need Xn. See, something is true for all R. You just have to focus on if something is true for all. So what should you? Yes. Again, I'm telling if something is true for all R. Can I say something related to Archimedean property or something? See, if you're having any real number, you know that there is always a natural number bigger than that. Do you agree? Yes. Agree or not? If you are having any number, you know that there is always a natural number which is bigger than that. You can say there always exists a natural number which is 1 upon n is less than r. Do you agree? Given any r. Agree or not? by Archimedean property. This was your Archimedean property, isn't it? Given any real number, I can find a natural number such that 1 upon n is less than r, or I can find a natural number such that r is less than n, or 1 upon r, जो भी बोलो, 1 upon r is new real number. So suppose I would like to use the same thing. Can I say that? Can I say for all n belongs to natural number, can I say bp comma 1 upon n minus p intersection A is non-empty? Think about it. Can I say this? For all natural number, I am having this bp1 comma bp1 by n comma minus p intersection A is non-empty. Yes. Yes. Now, if this is non-empty, take n equal to 1. For n equal to 1, what am I having? bp comma 1 minus p intersection A is non-empty, correct? Yes. So if this set is non-empty, can I choose my x1 from this? See, I'm constructing a sequence. So let my x1, which belongs to this guy, p comma 1 minus p intersection A. Can I choose a x1? It has infinitely many. एक एलिमेंट को मैं x1 लिया. Your question. To find a sequence of distinct point. That means जो मुझे x2 चाहिए वो क्या रहना चाहिए? That should not be same as x1. So for n equal to 2, you are having bp comma 1 by 2 minus p intersection A is non-empty. Can somebody tell me what is relation between this set and this set? What is relation between this set and this set? Look at this set and look at this set. What do you think the relation is? Yes? Center is same, radius different.
BP half is contained in BP1.
Contained in BP1, that means what? BP half can have some element same as a BP1. Is that clear? So what I need to make sure, I am going to choose my x2 in this set, but it has infinitely many elements. I should choose those x2. We choose x2 which is not equal to x1. In x2 belongs to this set. bp comma half minus p intersection A. Is that clear? Same. Next, I should choose a x3 which is not same as x2. Even x1 and x2 both. So can I continue in the same way? Can I say continuing in the same way? Can you say something? Continue the same way. We get a sequence of distinct point. This is important. Of distinct point xn x such that where does this xn lie? Xn is in bp comma 1 by n. Now you should think, you should ask why am I choosing 1 by n? Why not any other sequence? Correct? Xn is in this. Now what I have to prove? I have to prove this Xn is convergent. अभी मुझे एक sequence मिल गया which is having distinct point. Now I have to prove this sequence is convergent and converging to P. Claim your Xn converges to P. Think about this. I have already written everything. Can I use Archimedean property? What do you mean by Xn belong to this set? That means distance between Xn and P is less than 1 by n. Isn't it? See, Xn belongs to this set BP, 1 by n minus P intersection E. It means that distance between Xn, P, it is less than 1 by n. Do you agree? And Xn is not equal to P. Agree or not? Now can I say, and you are a master of this. If you are having something 1 upon n, you are master of this to prove this is less than epsilon. You just have to use Archimedean property, correct? So let epsilon positive be given by Archimedean property. What can you say? 1 upon n naught is always less than epsilon, correct? Now to write in the form of definition, I should choose n is greater than equal to n naught. Then what is the relation between 1 upon n naught and 1 upon n? 1 upon n is less than 1 upon n naught, correct? And this is less than epsilon. So that's it. I'm having d of xn comma p, which is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. And this is true for all epsilon. Correct? Which means that your xn is converging to p, hence proved. Look at the proof once again. Tell me whether you understand this or not. Think about it and tell me. Whether the proof is clear to you or not. I'm taking a point which is the limit point of A. What is the definition of limit point? BPR minus P intersection is non-empty. So can I choose, can I say for all natural number I, because something is true for all R, so I can choose this. R ki jagah pe 1 by n. So I'm taking for all natural number BP 1 by n minus P intersection is non-empty. Now if I'm having n equal to 1, I'm having this is non-empty. Let us choose my x1 is in this set. For n equal to 2, I am saying this is non-empty. I am choosing x2 in this set, which is not equal to x1. And similarly, continuing like this, I'll get a sequence xn, which is like this. Correct? Now, what is my claim? Xn converges to p. This is my claim. Correct? Now, I am having xn belongs to this. What do you mean by that? Distance between xn and p is less than 1 by n. Now, let epsilon is positive number. By Archimedean property, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that 1 upon n naught is less than epsilon. Let n is greater than equal to n naught, and I can write this. Is that okay? Is the proof clear? Now conversely, what you have to start with? You are given, suppose that there exists a sequence xn of distinct points of E converging to P, which is also in it. See, this is important. जिस point पे converge कर रहा है, that point should also be in the set X. I gave you an example जिसमें it was converging to some other set. Correct? Okay. So what do you have to show? Claim. What is your claim? P is the limit point. Now keep the definition of limit point in your mind. That means what you have to give you have to say for any r positive BPR, that open ball centered at P and radius r, it should always intersect with A. Is that clear? So you should start for all take any r positive. Consider or let r is greater than 0. BPR is any arbitrary open ball, correct? BPR is an arbitrary open ball centered at P with radius r. Okay. Now I'm taking any r positive BPR. This is my open ball. What do I have to prove? I have to prove BPR minus P intersection A should be non-empty, correct? So you can do it in two ways. Suppose it is empty. Then also you can prove, or you can use the definition of your sequence. You are already given Xn is convergent. Now you are given Xn is converging to P. Correct? What is the definition? Definition is yes. If your Xn is converging to P, can I choose same R as my epsilon? Can I say that there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that Xn d of Xn comma P, which is less than R for all n greater than equal to n naught? Can I choose this? What do you mean by this now? That means your Xn is lying in BPR, and for all n greater than equal to n naught. That means all those n which are greater than equal to n naught, they are lying in this set BPR. And it has infinitely many point, correct? So suppose एक दो point P से same भी हुआ तभी भी I am having infinitely many point. So can I say that BPR minus P intersection A is non-empty? Do you agree from here to here? Why I'm saying because if they are, if can I say that every Xn is P only? Can I say? Can I say every term of my sequence is P? Can I say it is a constant sequence? Because if it is a constant sequence, then this intersection is empty, correct? But I am damn sure it is not a constant sequence. Why? In my assumption, I have taken, suppose that there exists a sequence Xn of distinct points. Distinct points means what? सपोज एक पॉइंट पी है तो दूसरा पॉइंट पी से अलग ही है, ये तो मुझे श्योर है. दैट मीन्स व्हाट? इट हैज इनफिनिटली मेनी पॉइंट. एक पॉइंट को मैंने निकाला, देन आल्सो देयर विल बी सम पॉइंट्स such that intersection is empty. So that claims your P is a limit point. Think about it whether the proof is clear to you or not. Take some time. Yes? Is the proof clear? Go through the proof once again and tell me whether you understand this or not. You start. You have to prove P is a limit point. That means what? Given any R, BPR in minus P intersection A should be non-empty. Let us choose that R and write the definition of sequence. Is that okay? No, I want you guys to do something. I want you to try proving this, the second one. Try proving this. If P is in A closure, here this is quite easy, because if P is A closure, that means P is adherent point, और adherent point में minus P करने की जरूरत नहीं है. That means same thing. You take your x1 in BP1, x2 is in BP2, BP1 by 2, and BP1 by 3, like that. Correct? Here you don't have to consider that they are not equal or something. You don't have to consider anything. And again, you can by Archimedean property, and same, the proof is same. You just follow that, and I want you to try this. So this is homework. I'll repeat the proof once again. See, I'm taking P is a limit point of A. What is the definition of limit point? For all R, BPR minus P intersection is non-empty, correct? So if something is true for all R, I can say for all natural number BP 1 by n comma P minus P intersection is non-empty. For n equal to 1, I'm having this. I'm taking x1 in this point. For n equal to 2, I'm choosing my x2 which is not equal to x1, and that is lying here. Correct? Similar to continuing in this way, I can say xn is lying here. So claim xn goes to P. So xn belongs to this set. That means what? Distance between x and P is less than 1 by n. By using Archimedean property, I can prove this is less than epsilon for all n. So that means xn converges to P, hence proved. Conversely, I'm considering a sequence of distinct point converging to P. I have to prove P is a limit point. So for all R positive, I have to prove BP minus P section A is not empty. Let us take R positive and use the definition of sequence convergent. Xn converges to P. So for all, that means there exists n naught such that distance between xn and P, that is less than R, for all n greater than equal to n naught. What do you mean by that? That means your xn is lying in the set BPR. Now the thing you have to make sure, can I say